This is Dawn from www.thesouthernyankeegirl.com. I'm an eBay seller. I sell men's fashions, women's fashions, antiques, collectibles, lots of fun things. But today I thought I'd take a little bit of a break this morning, get my mojo back, I should say. I'm also a retired professional chef. So today I'm going to show you how to make a pumpkin butterscotch cheesecake with a Gingersnap crust. You're going to love this one. All right. So, first thing we need to do is make our crust. Get yourself a box of Gingersnaps. Cheapest brand I get. My recipe calls for 16 ounces, but all I could find was a 12-ounce box. That's fine. I'm not going to kill you. When you're cooking, folks, let's go with the flow. People get too uptight about cooking. So the first thing I'm going to do is take my Gingersnaps and put them in my Cuisinart. And we're going to grind those up. If you don't have a Cuisinart, you can take a baggie and smash them with a rolling pin. That works just as well, just as long as you get them crunched up. So here we go. Hold your ears. Okay, that didn't take long. They're nice and fine. You don't want to put them in there long enough where they start to get clotted up. Just enough so that they're like a crumb. So we put those into our bowl. And our recipe calls for 1 stick of melted butter. That's a ½ cup. If you buy bigger blocks, it's a ½ cup. So I've already got that melted. 40 seconds in the microwave at high did it for me. I'm going to add that. And then we're going to add some sugar. It calls for a 1/4 cup of sugar. So, half. Sorry I didn't have these ready. I was really beating myself up saying, boy, I hate it when people do cooking shows and there are dogs in the background or their hair's in their face and they're not prepared. But here I am. Hello. Okay, so it's going to be white sugar. Yeah, white sugar. Sometimes I like to use half and half because I like the crust to get a little bit more of a caramel flavor to it. But because we're having the butterscotch filling, I'm not going to do that today. All right, so we're going to stir that up until it forms into a nice consistency. Everything is mixed up. There's one whole one. It's okay, just pull it out or chop it up. It's fine. Just try to get all of the crumbs moistened. Smells good anyway. And you can do this with the regular graham cracker crust too, but I like the idea of the Gingersnaps. It's a little bit of a different twist, since we're putting a twist on the filling as well. So, all right. And over here I have my cake pan. Should have saved a little bit of butter on the side for that, just to butter it a little bit. But let me see if the recipe calls for us to do that. No, it doesn't say anything about it. There's probably enough butter in this batter to get us through, in this crust. I'm sorry, not batter. So pour that in. And I'm sorry I don't have more hands, but I'd like to show you this. Let's try to see if I can angle it down a little bit. Okay, so I'm going to swish that around, and then I'm going to push it up against the side. Yeah, you can see that better. A little bit thick. I have a real deep pan here, so I may have to take some out. I don't want it too thick. Maybe not. So push it down to the bottom. Your crust will be, as thick as, like I said, my pan is taller, so my crust is going to be a little bit thicker, whereas I do have other cake pans that aren't this tall, so my crust would be a little bit thinner, but I like the tall. I like a nice tall cheesecake. Okay, so that's all patted down. Now we're going to stick it in the oven for 5 minutes just to get it set. And make sure the whole thing is covered on the bottom. Because if you don't, your cheesecake will go through, and then you'll have a problem. All right? So, now we're going to move on to the filling. So, what I have over here is my mixing bowl. Love my KitchenAid. And we're going to add 3 blocks of cream cheese. Now, I know you're saying, oh, cream cheese is going to give me a heart attack with my cholesterol. Listen, you don't eat it that often. Don't be freaking out over the fat and the cholesterol. It's not, one cheesecake is not going to kill you. It's a habit that you get into if you're always eating this kind of stuff that's going to kill you. Trust me, I know. I have some heart stents, and I've always been a good eater. I just have bad genes. But this will not kill me. All right, so we're going to get 3, I think they're 12-ounce containers of cream cheese. A little bit messy, but this is at room temperature, so it is on the soft side. And that's how you want it. It's easier to work with that way. Okay, got all that in there. Just wash my hands here. Gotta keep things going because I don't want you guys to get bored watching this video. Alright, so back to my recipe. This is a recipe I found online. It's just a pinch recipe. It's a great recipe that someone put on here, so I'm pretty happy with it and I'd like you to try it. So we are going to add to this 1 cup of pumpkin. And make sure it's not the pumpkin pie filling. This is not pumpkin pie filling. This is just a can of packed. You may see it labeled as packed pie filling. We're going to take that and put it in with our cream cheese. Now this recipe, I don't know, I haven't really read through it thoroughly. It's just how I am. I guess maybe that's what happens when you cook for a living. You just have a tendency to not read, you just assume. But what I do is I put everything in there, and then I'm going to mix it all up. So then we have to put in 4 large eggs. 1, 2, 3, and 4. All right. And 1 cup of sugar. This again is going to be the white sugar. You can add a little bit of brown sugar to it if you want. I wouldn't go quite half and half, but maybe 3/4 white and a touch of, the rest, a quarter of brown if you want. But, we're putting in butterscotch brandy, which really is going to add a lot of flavor, so I'm thinking you won't need, try to stay away from the brown sugar on this one. Now it calls for a 1/2 cup of heavy cream. And being the cheapskate that I am, I didn't want to go out and buy heavy cream, but my husband happened to bring me home a treat the other night of eggnog. So I'm going to use eggnog, because after all, what is eggnog? Eggs and cream. So we're going to add a 1/2 cup of that. And she goes. And now we're going to add our cinnamon, nutmeg, ginger, cloves. You add as much as you want. It depends on what kind of a flavor you want. But I'm going to tell you right now, it calls for 2 to 5 teaspoons. So, that jump from 2 to 5 just depends on how much spice you like in your cheesecake. So I like it pretty spicy, but not on the cloves. I'll put in 1 teaspoon of cloves. I love cinnamon, so with the cinnamon, yes, I will put in 5 teaspoons of cinnamon. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. A little bit of ginger. Whoop, this is a new one. Get that open. All right. And you want to put in 1 to 1.5 teaspoons of ginger. That's great little flavor. I'm going to put in 1. Again, on the stronger, like the stronger spices, the ginger and the clove, they're pretty strong, so I stay to a teaspoon on those. And then it also calls for nutmeg. Love nutmeg. It just reminds me of Christmas and the holidays, so I'm going to put a good rounded teaspoon of that in there. That's my oven. That's ready. Set your oven at 350 before you get started. I don't know how fast your oven heats up, but I got mine started when I started this whole process. So, and then it also calls for allspice, which I'm not sure really why it calls for allspice because you have so many other things in there, but we'll go ahead and we're going to put in 1 to 3 teaspoons. Oh, it smells so good, of allspice. I'm going to put 1 and a pinch, okay? Keep things cleaned up when you're working. It makes life much easier. All right. So, all we need now is a little pinch of salt, which I thought I had out. See? No wonder these folks that make these cooking shows are never prepared. 1 teaspoon of salt. That brings out the flavor of the pumpkin for you. Okay. And we are going to mix that till it's totally mixed up. Start out slow. You're going to see your cream cheese will automatically just start clinging to your whip. Just take it slow. It'll get all blended in. Okay. And last but not least, I'm going to put in just a touch of pure vanilla extract. My battery's going dead on my computer, so I hope I can finish this. And a touch of butterscotch schnapps. Just for a little flavor. Ah! See, I got too impatient. You never see that happen on professional cooking shows, but we're live. We're not going to edit. We're real people. Stuff happens. All right. I'm going to move along because the battery on my computer has decided to kick out on me. I also, what I like to do is I got myself some pecans. You can either put pecans, chop them up, and put them in your crust, or you can decorate the top. And I'm just going to decorate the top of my cheesecake with those. So, take your pan that you have here in the oven. Remember, we cooked our crust for about 5 minutes. And then you take it and you wrap it in foil. Okay? Take another pan that's a little bit bigger than that one that you're using for your cheesecake. I only have this because we're moving and my stuff is all packed. And put boiling water in it. And then set your pan right into that. What that's going to do is that's going to try to prevent the cracking. Okay? So what you're going to do is you're going to cook this at 350